Really like to join the conversation. We planned it for a long time, but because of my scheduling and traveling, always we just preparing for a long time for it. So really excited about that. Thank you all for coming. Let me introduce myself a little. Just how to say. First of all, I lived in China for like 10 years, half of each year, and spend time mostly in Yunnan province in Guizhou, Guangxi, Fujian. So it's all southeastern China. So it was pretty long experience with tea. And first it start from my wife. She worked in first Moscow Tea Culture Club, and after that, I also it was almost 13 years ago. And like 11 years ago, we started our own small tea room in Moscow. And after that, I started studying Chinese language and lived in China for this period of time. It was a hobby, and still it's a hobby, but it's grow because my mission, what I find out that all the tea professionals, we have two sides. One is a mass market, people who just want to, oh, Adelina, hi. And mass market is focused on tea for like tea bags and so on, which is absolutely nothing to tea. Yeah. And the second thing is tea enthusiasts who are mostly like a small shop or small tea house or small tea culture club or something, but it's mostly it's like it's not a chain. It's like one place very local, don't have power and investment to make it a more professional way, mostly. Of course, we have good examples of great tea houses, but what I found that we need to build a chain of tea houses, tea clubs, not tea shops actually. So and also, but at the same time, say the concept of culture club. Don't make it like a too businessy, how to say. Don't make it like commercial shop. So each tea house has atmosphere, has men who rule it with some special design rules, traditions, even assortment can be different from club to club because we only source from farmers. I have more than 700 supplies. I don't know, is it possible to see from the, but this is my WeChat, and this is the thousands of conversations from, because now is a harvest and I can't go to China, you know, today because already is like a day right now. So I just maybe 100 day only to contact about sending samples to Amsterdam or to Moscow, Beijing office or to my EU office. So it's all complicated now, but so I can still talk a lot. So maybe Pascal rule a little my words.
It's no problem at all, you know. I bet everybody's curious how the situation changed for you because of Corona and you can't travel to China because you talked a bit now about it. So everything is virtually, and they have to send you the samples to Amsterdam and to Russia, and you try them out there.
Yeah, it's a difficult for now, really, even with samples. For example, we receive samples from Japan, okay, but from China, it's really difficult. So I asked my friend who have a diplomatic passport. He take it personally in Beijing and bring it personally to Moscow. And this is only a way for now, with like which I can, because before it was easy. I just fly, take it in one day, and try it in China directly in the farm or directly in my office, and it's much better. But now it's okay. It's working. Just more money, more time, more organization. So it's also interesting to have these times because if no this lockdown season, I can't start Amsterdam project, for example, because I also stay right now. I'm in Amsterdam, and we opened our first tea house in Amsterdam. It was also a big goal, and I was really excited, and still really excited about the react of Dutch people for tea culture, because anyone told me before, oh, you know, Europeans, they don't understand tea culture. We only drink coffee. They don't care. I said, no, because Russians also before react pretty same. Okay, we consume tea a little bit more, but at the same time, like in 90s, we don't have tea culture. We have regular tea bags, and Russian people, Soviet people, they don't know that is it. But because we closer to China, we closer to Eastern, influenced from China more than Europe, for example. So we had started it a little bit earlier than Western countries, than America, than Canada, than Europe. And we had tea clubs already like 25 years ago. And it was built pretty good, on good level, with good philosophical and educational base, yeah, for that time. And this is why now we can, in Moscow, maybe around 50 tea clubs, and 8 mine, and other companies also pretty good. They're not like a big companies, but they also sell good tea, at least, which we can say this. And I really like it, and I like that this market also and hobby and philosophy of tea growing. And I hope that Western world also will. And I see here in Amsterdam, but it will be anyway. Anyone who comes to the club react like, wow, we want it. And they buy, we drink, and it's growing. Like we only open 1 month, even during Corona.
Awesome.
So it's great.
Was there some unique challenges with opening the club in Amsterdam, or made it really easy?
It was not easy at all, because first is the politics. I'm Russian. I'm not Russian by means. I'm Georgian, Jew, and Russian/Ukrainian. But I have a Russian passport. Yeah. So if you have Russian passport, it's a problem. So first of all, I need to find a job in Netherlands, and I need to find a company who can provide me a job to have a residence. No Chinese, so it was not too hard. I found out one company who need a consultation and international marketing guidelines, how to say. And I have some tasks. I find a job also, and they give me residence. After that residence, so I have Netherlands residence. I can travel and I can fly now, for example, here from Russia, because if the Russian passport, we can't enter Europe, for example. And after the company, I opened bank account and we start all the process. And we was lucky because in Amsterdam, real estate is extremely high. It's very, very over, especially in Centrum. But during the Corona, a lot of businesses shut down. It's sad to say, but this was luck for us. So we find out great real estate in Rozengracht 92. It's just near
New York City is what I remember.
Amsterdam, yeah, it's like 5 minutes walking from Dam Square. Very good location, and we started with anything is a little bit slower than in China, for example, because I can't call me like a Russian tradition business because I work with China and I feel like Chinese actually. I identify myself, how to say. So for me, it was difficult to adaptize my own. Brain, how to say, adaptize my habits to local traditions of speed, working speed, especially.
Slower or faster? Is it slower or faster in Europe or in Amsterdam?
Very slow, very patient. So it's a good meditational practice for me. So I just, okay, he will come next week. Okay, I understand. Oh, I sent email and I receive a reply from the bank a month later. Okay, I understand. Good. Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I respect local traditions. So yeah, I really, I'm not joking. I really respect. I'm a guest here. I'm not say a conqueror, so I must respect. But it's a good lesson for me how to work in Western world. So it's really great. Now it's working. We build it. Like 7 months under construction of a club, but it was difficult because during the Corona time, materials and the supply chains and the workers, and sometimes after curfew you can't work from 9, and so it's wow. But now we open, great, and from 28th of April. Lockdown a little bit low in Netherlands, so it's great.
One of our group members had the question, you handled the difficulties to bring like old QR cakes to Europe because for that, health inspection and nutritional point, from that government.
I didn't bring the
difficult
old
at the
cake.
moment.
I didn't bring the old cakes for the club for now, but we try to inspect and we try to find out the ways how to bring. It was the most difficult thing. I just really, it's a good question because the inspections and pesticide controls. But we just pass SGS for all the assortment. It's crazy to say one item 500 euros or no 400 euros. I find out with cheaper wholesale price because 50 types, so it's like 50,000 euros. Actually, it's not as low cost, so they pay a little bit less. And most of these I was surprised, but most of these what I supply even in Russia passed okay. Maybe except some Ansi province, Ansi county, Tigwani, because there is a pesticide level always was pretty high, and some tea from Yunnan, but not so much, So actually, it passed. It passed, but we now it's funny thing that we have Chinese tea only 10% of assortment. All the rest is Thailand tea, Taiwan tea. Japanese tea. Right now we receive Russian tea, Georgian tea, and Indian tea actually. And what I work in now, especially for Europe, we bought a plantation in Georgia, like 5 hectares. Bought it last week. We're waiting for container for this machinery, and I want to bring my Russian tea master from Krasnodar region where we make tea already like 3 years. And to make her fully organic, but processed all Chinese techniques, which I know pretty well, to make it like organic supply from one factory, most of these. It's an ambitious project, but it can be because we already tested in Russia. In Russia, we only have 1 hectare, so it's very like low production, like 1 ton, 2 tons a year, 3 tons last year. That's not too much at all. But with Georgian plantations, you have much more ability. There is very good plantation, very good soil, always organic, always clean, and easy supply, closer to Europe, easy customs. So yes, perfect. We'll try.
Great. To come back to your tea journey, was there some really unique experiences, like your most favorite memory? Is there something that stands out from the whole years that you traveled to China? That was the best memory for you, your favorite memory?
I can say, but maybe, of course, it's Yunnan province. It's my love, and all the travels was like absolutely. I can forget unforgettable experience, because most of all, I just we take a car and we drive like thousands of kilometers from Fujian to Yunnan, or get back from Guangdong for Hunan province. So it's each time it's interesting and each time it's unforgettable. But what I really can't forget is when we're crossing. It's recorded. No, we're not crossing. We're just walking around the border of Myanmar, nearby Bulanshan Mountain with local minority Hanidzu. It's my friend in Manhai. He's Hanidzu. It's Hani. How to say Zhu? It's indigenous people, small national minorities of Yunnan province, and I have a lot of friends in these minorities because best tea, especially when you're looking for gushucha or you're looking for some shanpuer, good puer, good old wild tea, you always connect to these people. And this is, of course, my best experience, and I really so miss China now, because it's my great part of my life, So I try to get with spring is a second spring without China. So it's such story. I always are remembering this. Wow, why not in China now? Why not in China? Oh yeah. So of course it's some remote villages, very primitive technologies, very primitive life, and I really love that. And all my experience in China is about villages It's about small factories or even big factories, but it's rural life. It's not the cities actually. It's funny to say. I never was in. I only once was in Xi'an airport, not in the soldiers. I don't know how to. I forget how it's even called in English. I know what is it. All these tourist attractions. I never was on Bandaling, for example, Great Chinese Wall. I was only in small part of it. I forget how it's called also, because I was in Beijing like very few times. Last time 5 years ago, Shanghai only like a transfer. Guangzhou two times transfer. One time on Fansung tea market because nothing to find there. I only traveled directly to farms. But with farms, just my love, and each farm is my great experience. But best experience, of course, is Yunnan. It's unbelievable. It's something real. So
yeah, that brings me to the question about the philosophy behind Moychay and the sourcing. So you said you're traveling to the farmers and to the small villages and to the families. So you always source just from small farmers, or?
Yeah, mostly from the small, sometimes from bigger farms or big factories too, because the philosophy main thing is sourced from directly, because we want also same time have profit because we need we have big costs for anything, but at the same time we need a very reasonable pricing, and only one way it's going to the source. So it's easy to say. First is just economical reasons. I don't want to be, I'm so good. I want to be like a god for anyone. No, no, no. I'm a businessman actually, but I want to bring it's real. I just what I'm talking and what I'm doing, anyone can see as a product. It's a thing, third thing. So if you want good product, you must source directly. Doesn't matter big factor and small. Main thing is control, of course. So you must see what we're doing. You must first tests, take their tests, take their soil. If we work a lot, I always check soil. Also, you see the people actually. How do they say? How do we drink their own tea? How they react if you're asking something about the quality and manufacturing techniques? How do they feel that? And only through direct talking, through drinking tea together, you can really feel what we're feeling about tea. And this is my really very big goal, first goal, to real see the eyes of the person who supplies. This is the main thing. And this person must be in love with tea. It's the first thing. And if farmer in love with tea, he always searching for something new. And my latest also goal is a little bit experiment, because we are all stuck in this. Oh, okay, this is a shampoo, this is a shupor, this is Danpao, this is food Tiguanin, this is Lunjinchi, and so on. I really a little bit, because of long time, I'm really tired of all how to say typical teas. I drink it, I like it, but I always searching for something crazy. Okay, let's take Tiguanin and use HA technique and make a shupor for it. Yeah, actually, it's not poor if you're talking about the geography, but if you're talking about technology, it's poor actually. We make GABA poor GABA poor from Krasnodar.
I'm drinking right now, yeah.
I will appreciate your feedback, truly feedback. So it's so we make some crazy things with tea. I'm not a professional technologist, but then it's at the same time I'm not professional videographer or photographer, but I'm making photo from 12 years. I'm not professional, but I'm just studying. The same with technology. I'm not a professional, but I'm just seeing a lot, and I can feel it, like not from the scientific side or from educational side, but just from the field. I feel, oh yes, I can drink it. Oh, let's try do this a little bit more greenish, or ferment a little bit longer, or age it like for 2 years, and after that ferment, and after that store, try how it's going, or roast like 2 years, or roast 10 years each year, like to discover. Yeah.
That experimentation is solely something that you do, or do you see a trend or a hype going on in China or worldwide where people start to experiment? Because I just found your company with that experimental tea experiments going on, and that's why I'm asking: is there something like a hype going on that people try to experiment with different techniques?
I can say that it's not a hype for me. Maybe, of course, if we talk about some factory or some region or some, how to say, crowd of people who interested in, of course, it can be. But what I see from the land, I don't was in China for 1 year and a half, so I don't know what is now. Now it's
sure.
But what I have like year ago, it was like mostly, of course, all the farmers follow the trend to manufacture what this county or what this region is needed to have a tradition to manufacture. Because if you're talking about China, even about Taiwan, all the rest countries I not have so big experience. I was in India, but not long. So I only talking about China and Taiwan, of course.
Sure.
And they mostly follow the tradition. Like 90% of farmers or manufacturers, they know, okay, we need to manufacture this tea because this tea is popular now and we need to sell it. And so they first of all, they're not tea culture guys. They are tea manufacturers and we need to feed their families. And they don't think at all about, oh, which teapot I will brew my shampoo. We just take a glass, put the aged, old, expensive gushu cha and just brew hot water, overboil it from the regular source. Don't think about the water. But in mountains, you don't need actually. But just don't care. And they only care about, do you buy our tea or not? It's an easy thing. They only care about this, and it's very, very concrete. Mostly, I don't talk about all, but I talk about if you're talking like a whole thing and try to complain it, how to say. Sorry about I forgot words. It's very good, but I already arrived in Amsterdam and I have yesterday like whole day talking English, so I just recognize a little.
Your English is really well. I saw it getting better and better for your videos, because I'm following your videos.
我们可以说韩语，韩语更好。I just say Chinese, so if you speak it's much better. Okay, and the main thing what they care, of course, is sales. And we know some regions which is more close to traditions, and we know some regions which is more close to trends. If you're talking about trends, of course, it's Fujian, and of course, it's some Yunnan places and some factories, like big factories, which have ability to experiment and have ability to make something new and don't be 100% sure that we will sell it, actually. So small farmers, it's difficult for them. They can't like, oh, let's try do some GABA tea or white tea from our regular material what we use for green tea. Let's try. And after that year, their buyer come and where is your green tea actually? Oh, we just, this year we will experiment a little. We don't have tea, we have white tea. Try. Okay. I won't buy. I have no food for next year, So it's difficult to say. So mostly it's a big factories or orders. So for example, most of my big amount tea, like shoopware, because we really sell it like container and container and container. I buy leaves, fresh leaves, and I send these fresh leaves directly to Chudushuo. It's a semi-product factory. After that, they make kind of shan puer, and they send this shan to a Manhai factory. They will ferment and make shoe cakes. So this is why during I buy the leaves, I can't buy plantations in China for now, but when I came, I want to buy a company and started. I wanted to start last year, but things changed by journey in Georgia. But they think that then you have this process from the beginning. You can also experiment, but only by order. If I prepay, they will. If no, most of them can't. Or if you already work with them for a long term, we know that you already bought a lot. They can experiment by themselves, but not like from the first time. Oh, I want some experimental tea. Okay, buy 2 ounce of tea. This is
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
sure. So the most experiments was on your saying that you talked with the companies and with the farmers to experiment with some of the source materials. Did I understand it right?
Oh, I didn't hear.
Ja, es gibt diese,
Just give me a second.
diese Gruppe von
Somebody microphone is not muted, so I'm muting him.
Yeah, great.
So that means that you tell the tea farmers and the producers over there to experiment with some of the teas.
Yeah.
Don't do it for the first time because you tell them they are doing it the first time.
Yeah, no, not from the first time, of course. But sometimes I just find some factories, like our very good supplier from Yunde County in Yunnan. It's a very, very big farm. Actually, it's not a farm, it's a factory. And it was government owned, but after that, it's right now it's private. And they plantations like 3,000 hectares actually. It's pretty big plantations, and on the altitude from 2,000 and higher. So it's actually the highest Yunnan tea plantations. They mostly manufacture green tea, but when we come there, I have a movie on YouTube, and also it's already dubbed to English. Later, if you're interested, I could show you the link. Funny thing, anything I talk in, I have video proof. Yeah. And they, they already start experimenting with GABA tea. I really like GABA tea, but we start making not on Taiwanese technology, but on all the 18th Japanese technology. So we start making like green GABA tea, white GABA tea, which we have still now. And also, and I have a joke. Can you just do shoepware GABA? I said, okay, I'll try. And it was a joke from my employee, Nikolai. We traveled together. He helped me with filming, my manager from Moscow. And he just, he loved shoepware. And he just joked on this way, let's try. But the owner of the factory, okay, we'll try. And I also think that he joked. But next year, he sent me samples of his GABA shoepware. I said, how did you do that? And say, okay, which first we, with technology, we make a process for Shen GABA. And after that, when we're fermenting shoe, we just cover it more to make it less oxygen. But if we're talking, I'm not a biochemist, but when we're talking about shoepware, actually GABA is already exists, even if you just ferment in a big sacks or you make a big watery shoe, because inside oxygen is much less.
Yeah, it's true.
Fermenting without oxygen, not fully, not vacuum, but GABA contains much more than in other teas, even in regular shoepware. This is a fact. Yeah.
I see. So, yeah, the tea hives. Is there a big difference between the Chinese tea drinkers, the Russian tea drinkers, and the non-Chinese tea drinkers in their buying behavior and in their behavior of drinking tea? Because you know, our community is like many tea heads, and everybody's drinking tea and doing gong fu cha. And how is there a difference between the cultures in Russia, in China, or Amsterdam, Europe?
I see that, of course, it's different, and but I can't say that it's belongs to nation or belongs to local mentality, because actually Gun Fu Chais connect each other, and people who start interesting in culture and start exploring it and explore it in not a dogmatic way, exploring like open way, open to anyone, to anything. Actually, all the tea heads, how we can say, tea people who in love, they are pretty similar, you know, because I was in Australia, tea community. It was really appreciate Tanya, Stacy. She's yeah, and she how to introduce me first thanks to John, because John introduced me to Australian tea community, and I just find out that people who love tea, you know, we're not the same, but they are all the same different, you know, the same different. And the same with China, you know, it's really exciting thing. I know a lot of businessmen who work with China, and they have a lot of them have very, very bad experience of China. Oh, Chinese people treating me, they steal my money, they send me bad goods, they send me bad quality products, and so on and so on and so on. First of all, of course, it's because of lack of experience and don't know in Chinese mentality, and sitting in London, for example, or in New York or in Brussels and waiting for the goods, and don't even try to travel to China, to go to a factory to check what you're buying, just finding something on Alibaba and waiting for a good product. Talking not about talking about anything, actually, electronics, furniture, doesn't matter. Because I also work in delivery and translations and some other businesses to help with China and so on. But the first thing, you just study, teach a little bit what you're working for. It's not just buying, selling. It's a little bit more complicated things. It's about anything, not about tea. It's a main problem in the same time. But with tea, I can count only one or two times when I have problems of untrustful issues or treatment or something bad. It was really, really rare. First of all, because I'm connected to people which is not spoiled by the Western or Russian traditions of businesses, because it's bad, actually. Second thing, when you working, they see your eyes, and if you do something wrong, you will get back. So this is also a good thing.
Yeah.
And the third thing, they don't want to lose client. It's crazy to lose. And I start from business side, but I back to the tea. The tea people are the same, different all around the world. When I start to talk with someone who are already in Kung Fu China, it's absolutely funny thing that all the people are really friendly, open-minded, without any stupid presets, without any political bullshit on their head, without anything incorrect. Most of I can't all, but like 90% of the team, great, and I really like it. And I can say that, of course, we have some habits in consuming of tea. For example, in China, most of people drink green tea. If you're talking about the cities, for example, Beijing city, they drink jasmine green tea mostly. And some of people who follow the trends, we drink pu'er, or we drink lunzin tea, or we drink tiguanyin, or we drink some hei cha or white tea, because trends of hei cha and white tea are still on. And but mostly they just consume. But if we're talking about someone who professionally into tea, they also sometimes focus on something. But if you talk about big cities, big tea clubs like Chengdu, like Shanghai, or I don't was a lot there, but my last investigations was I started to really go into tea clubs in China, because I missed that. It's funny. A lot of people who travel to China just like a tourist, they have more experience about tea clubs than me. It's funny to say, last 2 years before with Corona that I started. So I have some experience about tea clubs in Chengdu. Other cities just I visited, maybe around 20, 50 tea clubs, and looking how it's organized, how it's consuming. And it has two things. First, if it's small tea club, doesn't matter if it's a big tea club, but it's ruled by the tea lover, not a tea businessman, it's great. It's open it, you see atmosphere. You just go inside and you feel it in 1 second. Is it doing for business? Just for a beautiful lady sitting in this great, and doing automatically all the beautiful bullshit, sorry. And I like it. I like to see, but UST is not drinkable actually. She just takes something for 10 yuan and some cheap teapot from Taobao, and posing beautiful, but she don't know the culture. But time you can meet absolutely incredible, small, very dusty, very unpleasant, tea room somewhere outside near suburbs, and they're old guy with the cheapest guy wine, brew absolutely incredible tea from his brother who lives in Zhejiang province or Guangdong province, doesn't matter. And he feel the tea much better, you know. So appearance is not the way, but sometimes you see the beautiful, the great tea house made on the extremely better level and best level, and at the same time they have great tea. This is of course is perfect, but it's hard to find. For my experience, there's of course some known clubs. There's big companies who supply tea. So Chinese tea market is really like a big market. It's big billions market. So they have, of course, they have a lot of great clubs. Of course, they have good presented, bad presented, great assortment.
Sure.
Very, very different from province to province, from city to city, from street to street even. But if we talk about Western community, Russian community, I can say that we differ in the deepness. I can talk about Russia maybe a little bit more because I have much more experience, of course, with Russian community, and we want to discover more. We need more. We can't just drink Lunzin tea from Gaiwan and say, okay, it's enough. It's okay. I know in tea already. I had tea, it's great. I drink my Lunzin for 30 years and I'm happy with that. No, we want like 10 teapots for each type of tea. We want know how is and why do you need this information? How do you use that? Oh, I don't know. It's like a meme, you know, a meme on all these tea groups like Gunfachar group and other. And when you see this, how to say, we are poor collectors, you know. We want to buy. Actually, I store it. What you do? I don't know. Yeah, the same with information. It's good. I like that because sometimes for me it's like a challenge. When some our guests, we try to call our clients guests, especially in physical tea clubs. They ask, "Oh, Sergey, how did this GABA super manufactured? Please tell me in details." Sorry, I really don't know in each details, but I can so say in some like a few minutes ago, yeah. And say no. Which temperature it was from?
Yeah.
I will call her and ask how did it was. It's funny to say. It's great. I like it, but it's a Russian and maybe even Western mentality. People who really love tea, they like living in tea and thinking about tea, drinking about. If your friend don't drink tea, you don't know how to talk to him. You know, it's funny to say. It's because of tea. It's really strange, but I try to bring me more and more. Please drink it. I can't communicate with you without tea.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
I didn't see something like that in China. They don't care. Okay, you don't drink tea. Let's drink beer today. Don't worry. And this is much easier. Not all, of course, but most of. And I can't call it bad or good. It's just a local habit. It's a main. It's the deepness. And I like this deepness. For me, this deepness is much closer. And for me, it's also a challenge to be more professional, more and more educate myself. So it's good.
Yeah, I think so too. You mentioned like dusty tea room. You had a great tea. So, what was your favorite tea that you drank till now? Is there one that really points out, or is there way too many teas that you can tell us one favorite tea experience with one favorite tea that was outstanding?
I can say that the best tea, my favorite tea is tea which I didn't drink yet, which I didn't taste yet. Some completely new taste. When I find this becomes my favorite tea for a week or for a month or for a year, doesn't matter, but for some period of time, it becomes my favorite, great, best number one. And each year it's changing. Why? Because I'm again traveling and I'm again in. This is why we just started more experimenting in Russia and buying plantation in Georgia. I even tried to Seychelles right now, fly it and even visit Seychelles tea factory because I miss China. I want this tea leaves in my hands, you know. So my favorite teas, of course, in real, if we're talking about some like habits, aged, aged anything very, very rich and fragrant and how to say, fat in taste, fat in aroma, big aftertaste, more not so delicate. I like delicate teas sometimes. For example, like greenish and yellow teas, of course, and white teas. Mostly during the hot season, the summer time, because it's opens, it make feel freshness of spring. For example, right now is a great time for green teas from my own view. But I mostly like more fermented, aged, of course, like old Shenpur or aged white teas or aged black teas, red teas actually. I was confusing always talk in Russia. We don't have a problem with black teas. You know why? Because we have krasny chai, it's red tea, and the home cha, it's okay. But in English, I always confusing how to call it red tea or black tea. Try to call Chinese red tea and all Indian and other stuff black tea. It's more more closer to understand. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, I like some also discoveries in aged teas. For example, one of my last discoveries was aged Chao Cha. Chao Cha, it's a very, very local tea from northern Guangdong province, where it is Jiangshi. It's Jiang city, Jiang city, and they have a few villages, like 5 villages only. One is more famous, of Wufancong. It's a village of 5 houses. Actually, it's not 5 houses. It's like 300 houses now, but they collect five houses village, Wufancong. And this village have a few factories that Chao Cha. It's a fried tea, if you translate it from Chinese. Fried, and why we call it this way? Mostly they use oolong tea material. It's northern Guangdong, so we use Fenhuang Dansung, we use some southern Fujian cultivars, we use some local like Shuixian, like Baixian. So it's mostly oolong teas, and they have around 20 to 40 cultivars. They mix, sometimes they have some own selections, very limited, but they have 2 or 3, and they fried like for 8 hours. So it's very close to green tea manufacture, billow tea manufacture, but they use a higher temperature. They ferment a little, and also they use oolong tea tree, not green tea, no, not a regular camellia, you know. So oolong cultivar, and this is Sunday. I only have like 5 or 7, no, even 3 of these teas now, but I will deliver more. So it's very rare, it's very local thing, and they age it sometimes. And this aged Chao Cha, it's something completely different, and a little bit close to Taiwanese Lao Chawan, aged Taiwanese, or aged Southern Fujian or Northern Fujian teas. But
you could try it. That sounds really interesting. Yeah.
The second thing, which I really like a discovery in aged teas, it's aged green teas. I found only one man, not two. One in Fujian. I can't name the place. Sorry, it's really because it's a collector, and he's pretty famous in some circles in China. But it's what my discovery, so I keep it private. And biggest collector actually for aged oolongs tea, especially. And he have aged Yunxi Hotzeng. Yunxi it's a place in Anhui province, and they have aged green Yunxi Hotzeng tea from 80s. Absolutely incredible. They roast it a little each year and extremely high price, even overpriced. They can stay, but I like the taste. And the second aged green tea is a Taiwanese storage, and they bring some Fujian teas and some Guizhou teas to Taiwan, and they also have some local aged old billow tune from Muzha. On Taiwan, right now they actually manufacture green tea, but very, very low quantity. In Taiwan, we have green tea in Minjian and Muja a little bit, but very few. And they have this tea like from 60s and 70s. It's green tea which tastes like absolutely different. You know, we drink it and you know that it's not fake because we never tried something before. So I can't even say it's a little bit similar to oolongs or aged HR, or even have some aged Blaubeicha or aged white tea tastes and so on. And maybe third thing, which is really like was a discovery, it's HR white tea. How do they do that? To Hunan, Anhua County, there we manufacture HR. They bring white tea material already processed from Fujian to ferment it with Jinhua, with this fungus for HR, to ferment it, to place it on white tea. This taste, this was like, now we don't have it. We try to manufacture it again, but all these projects take years for me to guide. For example, my last HR, I will receive it, hope this summer, but this fermented HR, we prepared for 3 years to make this amount. Yes, difficult. But with white tea, HR, it was also like something, wow. It's not aged white tea or with HR fungus in it. So this is the first three, which my like favorites for last years, yeah, which I can say. Yeah.
I mean that's totally unique, and what comes for me in my mind is like, normally we always hear like green tea has to be really, really fresh and has to be consumed really, really fresh. And then I saw it on your homepage like a month ago, and I was like, aged green tea? I'm not sure if I should try it. The price point, and now you're talking about it, and I'm even more curious about it because, like I said, normally it has to be as fresh as possible, that it's really good quality and a good taste. And now there is even a movement of aged green teas. That sounds really interesting, and so white HR, and it's really, really unique. And I really hope to see that on the homepage again, because I'm definitely trying out the aged HR, the HR white teas and the aged green teas. Adeline said there's a difference between aged green tea and green tea that's just old and stale.
Yeah, of course. But you see, they have two, even three recipes how to age it, and it's interesting because sometimes they roast a little bit the same, but they do with aged oolong teas, for example, or aged black teas, a little bit roast to reduce this. How to say, bad smell, and also to not ferment, actually, just heat it up a little. But you know, I have my own experiment because I have my own two small warehouses in Russia for aging, especially. It's my house, actually. Sorry, my wife. Which especially for tea.
Oh, nice.
House we also have some department for aging, but yeah, now for green teas I have like Lonzing, which I bought almost 10 years ago, not so long time ago, and it's great. Why? Because it's already was Lonzing have a free recipes of manufacturing, but I like the middle roasted, not too high fried. If fried, sometimes I like it because it's not greenish and it's have a not so good taste and so on. And I just have this one thing, and this is why I still have it, because I just it's too fried out. You know, it's a little too fresh, with a little bit sharper taste and so on. So I just store it, and it was like 2 kilograms, not too much. I just put it on my shelf. And last year I just opened it to try how it's going. And it becomes a little bit close to aged white tea, a little bit close to aged Shan. It absolutely thing. It not have a great aroma of green tea, of course, nothing about that. It's a closer taste to something. Before, if I didn't know about aged teas, I just think that it's a old green without taste, without anything, and I just rubbish. But then I know what I want to find in this taste. When I want to find, I feel that. And so it's interesting. But it's not about it's not about some processing to special technology of aging. It's just I forgot it. If I will at a more professional level, maybe I need to open it like each 2 years or each year, or do something which I even don't know. It will be maybe even much better. Or I will close the back. The main thing, back was not closed good. The oxygen come into that, and you can try a small amount of not roasted, but fried on a high or pretty high temperature green tea, not fresh like Anji Baicha, for example, or Lunzin, or maybe Malfen, or maybe which Taiping Hokui also good, but not for first 5 years. So it's absolutely unprofessional to say, and a lot of people can blame you. Wow, what are you talking about? What's the crap? But sorry, but it's my own experience. I like it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's nice that you experiment, and even with the experiment, you should just store it somewhere and you more or less forget it, and then you look into it. It's still an experimentation, The good point was with the storing in a bag, because I read some of your teas have a fermentation inside a bag. There is written in the description of some teas, it's fermented in a bag fermentation or something like that. With some chefwars and some gabas. A special new technique of fermentation inside a bag.
Yeah, if you're talking about Russian GABA, we don't have a machinery yet. I didn't bring a vacuum tube from Japan. I'm waiting for it. But we ferment in a bag. We just remove all the oxygen from there with other technique. It's not a bag actually; it's a glass thing, and they just reduce all the oxygen and count that it's vacuum actually, and this kind of we can ferment. But maybe I didn't understand you right. If we're talking about also fermentation, but bringing it back, for example, if you're talking about heicha, and we also sell like pieces of bricks, not a whole brick. And I can just recommend never, ever store any kind of heicha in a plastic bag, like close it, because it's needed to breathe.
Sure.
Can mold with shampoo or no, but with the heicha sometimes it can, and it will be not a good molding actually. So it's my experience.
I was talking about the Crosstalk, about the Russian red tea, because I ordered them with my first order, and it was written on it that it was fermented in a bag, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a nice idea to do it like that. And it has no funky smell or taste, because it really tastes like a deep, rich black tea, and so I was curious to ask about that too.
It's always discovery, because lack of machinery. Like 3 years ago when we started, my partner Alexander, who is a technologist actually, he started experimenting. Now we have at least 3 or even 4 enthusiasts who started, who try to copy him and make their own thing. But Alexander still, I think, number one, and we just work like a partner. So anything what he produced, I take to distribute, and he always searching for something. So he's an absolutely incredible master. I want to bring him to Georgia to make it on more scalable, because in Russia we have very big problems because of corruptions and some other things with lands. and tea land is very big actually, but the owners of this land, so they didn't even give it to you for you to use. They didn't want to rent it to give it for rental because they want to wait. We're waiting for lobbying government to make it like a private land for construction, for buildings, and we really want that, but it's Russia. It's really complicated, so we decided more focus on Georgia. So this is all the technologies will improve and make on a more professional level in Georgia. Why we can't make all this fermentation and all other on a good level in Russia? We don't have material actually. We have like very limited material.
Yeah, I tried that Georgian, like Tibetan tea, the tea brick that is now sold out because I like to do Tibetan tea, and it's really amazing. And a really nice price, and it's a big brick with crude material, but really nice to drink.
So where's the story about this tea? Now the factory is located in Kabuleti, Georgia.
Didn't get you. You're dropping out with your connection. I can't hear you.
Did you hear me now?
Yeah. Now you're back.
I didn't hear you actually. I just very funny. Why? But you hear me, yeah? You hear me?
Yeah.
But I didn't hear you. What's the problem? I see. 1 second. I will charge my speaker, or I will change the sound. Yeah. Please say something,
awesome.
Pascal. Oh, great. Sorry.
You can hear me?
Okay, technical problems.
Yes, no problem.
A very funny thing about Georgian tea, which is actually heicha, but green heicha, I would say. In Kabuleti, they located old Soviet factory, which still make bricks, and they harvesting tea by their Turkish technology. They just cut the big crops like it in Anhua also. It's very high, and they make bricks in a very primitive way. I have a movie. It's in Russian, but I have a movie from this factory, and they export it to Russia a little bit, but the most they export going to Mongolia. It's very funny. And Mongolian people, they call it like brick tea, or just and they use it in very traditional way with milk, prepare on big kettle and so on, like Middle Asian traditions, like Tibetan traditions, the same. It's good tea and very cheap. It's very cheap. Even delivery costs much more than tea, actually. But very interesting thing. When I was in Anhua province, I found out absolutely same machinery in Anhua, one of Anhua factories, and I just look on the machinery and just find out that this is a Soviet machinery from 60s. So in Georgia, in Anhua, the same machinery make the same tea, but not, of course, Anhua Chinese are better quality because of but not because of machinery, because of a selection of material. Because in Georgia, we absolutely don't care about that, but in China, a little bit care about. And and funny thing that in Anhua Tea Museum, and you built one, and I was 2-3 years ago there, and they have a very interesting photography that Soviet engineers, which support Mao after the revolution in China for the first years, they also support local tea manufacturing in Anhua County in Hunan province. And they bring the machinery actually there, and there is a photo of Soviet engineers, of Chinese engineers, teaching Chinese how to make tea bricks. I was absolutely wondering, and I a little bit investigate about that and really find out. But before, they have some kind of bricks also, but mostly we was focused on this big rounded, I don't know the word, like this. Something like this, but from it's H how to say, tong, or big like a big piece of wood, like
This
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, Tianlan Cha. Like in Chinese, it's called Tianlan Cha, but I don't know how it's in English. And the bricks.
Column tea.
Yeah. Columns, big columns of tea, like 75 kilograms, 72 kilograms, or more than one, or even 1 ton we have. So yeah, and before they mostly was focused on this tradition because it's traditional technique. One day they switched a little bit, not completely switched, but partly switched to bricks. It was also made by partly Soviet help. Georgian specialist from Soviet Union. It was absolutely incredible information. I never know that before. Yeah, so it's interesting. And yeah, it's now, so it's it's funny to say that Georgia still have some Hecha manufacturer.
Really interesting. What I saw recently is that you built your own kiln. That's a really interesting thing. Maybe people are interested how you did that and your thought process behind it, because I see on your homepage now even teaware out of that kiln, and they're looking really beautiful. Is it in your backyard? Did you build a kiln in your own backyard, or how
kiln, it's a funny thing. Then I get back to Russia last year. I was in Amsterdam, and after the lockdown, the strictest lockdown, it was in April and May in Russia, and even anything was closed. We can't even go outside of the house, and we can, of course, all airports not was closed down completely, but there was no flights to Amsterdam, for example. So I came back to business here, and I stuck in Moscow and can travel. I was with my family, and I want to do something. I can't stay in my house like for 2 months without, and we started a little bit even earlier because I am a really big fanatic of ceramic, of porcelain. I collecting. I have thousands of teapots, more than 30,000 of cups and so on. It's really museum. Actually, I will post some video. I filmed video. It's sadly also in Russian. I will maybe translate it, but it will be about my personal collection at home, because I want to build a tea museum, maybe in Amsterdam. I hope someday we will build it, not in Moscow, because make it more closer to all the world, you know. Yeah, and I just think I missed China, and I have an addict going to China and bring some precious cups, teapots, teaware, something. Each time I travel, I bring something, not too much, but the best thing, like 20, 30 items. And I miss this thing, you know, and I just, I can't bring, I can't touch. I wanted, and okay, I will build it by my own. And I found out a good partner, Andre. He's absolutely incredible porter. And we just copied one French kiln and from French wooden fire specialist. And after that, we also changed it by our own. So actually, right now we have 2 kilns just nearby by our own technique, how to say, build manually, not too professional, but we fire on 1,300 plus temperature degrees. So it's completely wood-fired porcelain and teaware and in clay, how to say, ceramic, and also we added the glaze. So while I stuck in Moscow for last 2 months, I just live in my parking, how to say, this part of the house where you park the car. Inside, and I just also build a studio in my home actually. And on backyard, we built 2 kilns. First one, after that, next one. So I just lived there for 2 months, start studying myself. Also, I ordered some glazes from China and buy anything what I can find in Russia. Find some old Russian specialists. We absolutely unused it now because we have a lot of Soviet infrastructure. In fact, it was closed, and a lot of very, very skilled, great professional ceramic have no work. Like we are pretty already not so young at all. We're like 60, 70 plus aged guys, and they are incredible specialists. And I call them to help us with kilns and help us with making glazes and so on. And I just So we now we have around 150 glazes, which is mostly our own glazes, which we mix it up or we made it from the clay and from the glass and from some chemical oxides and anything. Because I have a good connection to China, so I can bring any chemistry what we need. If we need some chemistry, and all the rest we can just dig or take on buy in Russia. So yeah, it's great experience. I have a lot of movies about that also. And we make our own shapes of cups, anything, actually anything, and I love that. Also, and now later on we just find out few painters. And now we have almost six to eight. It's changing, but 6 stable paint artists, not paint, artists, who help us to work on our pottery to make art on it.
Nice.
So it also in all it's like 1, and nothing else. And I was main thing. I was absolutely excited. What our best product for Amsterdam is Swiss pottery, you know, because people came and said, wow, it's manual, wow, it's only one, wow, it's handmade, and it's not like, wow, 300 euros. It's not expensive because Russian salaries, Russian pricing much lower, so we can sell it not like a few $100s and so on.
That is something that I wanted to dip into is you have such affordable prices on your homepage with your keys and your teaware, and on a good quality point. You know, the ratio is really awesome, and it's not like that you tell us your secret how you can be under the price point of most other Western vendors, but you have a really affordable price with a good quality in teaware and in the keys, because even the teaware is on a price point that is really affordable for everybody.
This is my goal.
If it's if it's because for the Russian exchange rate, or if you have a secret to source so directly even the teaware that you can be under the price point of most other.
You know, the main thing, we have really different assortment, and for now, right in the minute, we have very low assortment because we are the middle of harvesting, and I didn't receive yet new tea. For example, if we're talking about tea. And the same with pottery, because I also was in China for long, so it's a little bit more complicated. And now we don't have a huge assortment. But about the philosophy of it, I just find the direct ways of buying only from the factories, mostly. And this is why we have a reasonable pricing the same, and I have good profit the same. So I have like €3 guy wine, and it's okay for me to have. And even my employees here say, why did you sell this cup for 50 cents? It can be sold for €3 or €2. I said, I want to be sold for 50 cents, you know? Why? Because it costs 10 cents in China. And I don't want to make like extremely over priced business on that. But we can understand small vendors, because for them it's extremely difficult to source directly because they didn't have enough amount of buying. So they need it for €3, but I can sell it for 50 cents or for €1 because I can source directly and I can buy whole container from one factory, and it's okay for me. But I really can't. This is why in the beginning we asking me about my concept and so on. This is why I understand when I need scaling, because for China, if you're small, it didn't fit for them. They can smile you, they can be friendly with you, and but they can't source and work on your order. If you need 10 cups, 1 teapot, 1 guy wine or 10 guy wines, please send me to some there in Berlin, or doesn't matter. And also keep it cheap for me because I'm a client, you know, and it's difficult. And the same in Russia, it's sadly to say that small vendors, for them, it's really difficult to source directly. Or in Russia, we have illegal ways of transferring, illegal ways of shipping with no customs and so on. And they, of course, they can, but it's not my way also. So my only way to have good product and good pricing, it's scaling, at the same time trying to serve the mission, to don't be a mass market bullshit. as a lot of people asking me and afraid, oh, Sergey, you open more tea clubs, where the quality will go down. I say, no, we China have enough tea for 5,000 tea clubs, not for 10,000 tea clubs, because it's big. And not only China, actually. As I'm talking about, they have own manufacturer, and other companies also came in other countries more and more educate about the technology, because main problem, it's not the geography, because a lot of, how to say, about my book, Geography of Chinese Tea, which
I'm waiting for that in English, you know.
Thank you. I already, I have a secret one man from this chat helping me with that. I'm waiting a little, and I hope in close month or something, I don't know, we will publish it, and I bring it to Europe, of course, and bring it everywhere, so it will be easy to buy. And there, and a lot of, but already some information already a little bit old, because I worked on this book for 8 years, and actually right now all this geography of Chinese tea is still in, of course, and the technologies, but now more and more people outside China study Chinese technologies, and this is absolutely will change all the market. Because in India, you can grow oolong tea trees, or you can grow, you can mix, you could do anything actually. In Kenya, you can grow, you can do, you can in Malawi they have puer, you know, in Africa, and a lot of these things like that. And also a very funny thing that we have Dutch tea, you know, maybe we sell it. I have a very good friend Johan from Brabant, the Netherlands, and they have. They grow in tea in green tents. I
saw that in your video. Yeah, amazing.
Of course, if you compare the quality and CP value of this tea to some Chinese Maofeng green tea, or Japanese Sencha, or Gyokuro, or Kokicha, no, it doesn't matter. This, of course, it's much different, and of course, it's much more expensive. But it's precedent, you know. Then you can grow and do tea and plant tea in Europe. I want to have a special district in my website, and also on our tea club here in Amsterdam, and later on then the scaling in Europe with European teas. I really like to support local supply. Really, and this is why we don't call. I have my experience that came from China, but I'm international. I'm not Chinese or Russian or Georgian. Actually, I'm feeling that. People become more and more connected. People become more and more inclusive and closeness, and we can't how to say that we are Chinese traditional tea club. We call Amsterdam Tea Culture Club, without any ethnic specific. It's a international tea tradition. Also, at the same time, I work with mate tea. Yerba mate from Paraguay, from Argentina. I was there. We have a supply from Guarani Indians in Paraguay. I was there, also have some movies from there, and incredible woman and the people who work there in Paraguay. It's great friends, and we also supply yerba. I also drink yerba, especially during the summertime. Also, we make herbal teas. We only don't do cacao and coffee, because it's absolutely some other, no coffee at all, but all herbs, which is can be drinkable like teas. We also do. In Russia, we have 5 small factories for herbal teas, and we make our tea cakes or our own machinery. Sometimes mixes with Chinese tea. Sometimes it's only herbal, willow herb, doesn't matter.
That's what John pointed out. Sorry to interrupt. John pointed out that you also have on your homepage tisanes from Russia and herbal teas.
Yeah. We make it all, and also we ferment it. We use the Chinese technology to ferment herbs. It's a very good goal, I think, for anyone to try. In Europe, a lot of herbs which can be fermented, and you can try these techniques even at home, for example. And it's also a good thing to do, and also a good thing to see more, not stuck in the we are Gunfu only. But I respect this, because the Gunfu is a base. Gunfu is a base, and I never switch in total from this. It's a base, and it takes 80% of my activity. But for rest 20, I keep it for something else, and I think it's good. It's good. There are from Adeline, sorry. Which region is Dutch tea grown? Brabant. Brabant. It's southern Netherlands. And if you want to find Tea by Me, just Instagram, Johan Jansen, and my Facebook friend. He grows and he manufactures tea. And also and especially for us, we have an exclusive contract. He made loose leaf tea because he doing tea bags. Actually, it's very funny to say. Sorry, Johan, if you see that, I love you, but tea bags is funny. Yeah, but local tea, they're great. And but at the same time, what I can say in Netherlands, also there are some other family also do tea. They're a little bit in opposite of Johan with some local reasons. I don't know. It's the same thing in China. And also some people grow tea in Italy and in Spain, in France. It's great to hear that in Europe and also in islands in Atlantic Ocean, Portugalian islands in Atlantic Ocean. Azorean Islands. Yeah, they also have tea plantations. I want to try all of this and also want to investigate and study on that. It's interesting. Yeah.
I would end now our interview and ask members if they have any questions that they can ask you freely at the moment. Afterwards, we will end the session. So if somebody has a question, please feel free to ask it now. Good. Looks like nobody at the moment. Yeah. No, I think it was a really interesting conversation. I really thank you, Sergey. I thank all the Facebook members.
Thank you also. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to your book in English and to many more conversations together in private and maybe again in public.
It's really great experience.
It was a pleasure
Sergey,
for me and for Saad.
I was going to say, Sergey, Kent says hello. Kent. Kent, who was going to play with his band in
yeah.
Says hello.
Greetings to him. We wait him in Moscow. We're still waiting. It's a great Adeline's friend. He is a musician from Australia. And we already planned a tour for him for our clubs in Russia, but sadly Corona times came, and but best wishes to him. Really,
yeah, he really wants to come, so I hope that he makes it over.
Someday. It will be anyway. Great. Perfect.
Yeah, like I said, thank you everybody. Thanks, Sergey.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Sergey.
Great. See you again.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.